Hey guys, it's 1634 Singer here. Today I am doing my first ever makeup tutorial because I can't really do makeup. And this is going to be my Halloween look that I posted recently in a video. And this is the creepy doll zombie thing. I don't know the exact term to call it here, but thought I would show you guys how I did it because a lot of people were interested. And it's actually pretty simple. This was my first time, like I said, this was my first time ever achieving something like this. So if I can do it, you guys can too.
Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Okay, now we're done with that. You're gonna want to take some Kleenex, and you're also going to want to get some sponge or something to applicate the latex with. Be warned, this will damage it more than likely because it'll get sticky and hard and nasty and you're gonna have to throw it away. But I got some liquid latex just from Spirit Halloween and it was nasty smelling. But you're going to want to shake this up, otherwise it doesn't combine very well and you'll get just liquid like I do at this point. Again, really stinky. So I just put this in a cup, and I am dunking my sponge in it, being a little over descriptive here because we are waiting for me to do something. Okay, so we are sponging the liquid latex onto my cheek right here, around the jawbone, basically everywhere I am wanting to put, where I am planning on making my smile reach out to, which didn't end up working. I just kind of small slit and that was about it, but regardless, starting on my cheek, adding latex and then putting tissue on top of it, and then after that I am adding another layer of latex on top. Trying to make it so that it's smooth on my face, which it's not going to smooth out perfectly, especially again if you're new at this. So I'm covering this from one cheekbone to the other, and I'm going to keep adding on top of this until I am satisfied with how thick it is. You're gonna want to make sure it's somewhat thick, that way it doesn't rip, of course. Well, here's a little dance for you guys with my toilet paper hanging off the face, or with my tissue hanging off my face. Okay, once that we have our little prosthetic completely covered in latex, we're going to wait for it to dry. For some reason I thought going on Facebook Live would be a good idea right now, considering I couldn't talk. So yeah, we'll be right back. So then once your latex has dried, it'll be a yellowy, snotty type of color. And we are going to start to cover it in makeup. First, I am using this powder foundation. Now, a lot of people will use translucent powder to make sure it's not sticky, but I do not have this with me, so I am using what I have. And I don't really know if it did its job, but either way, Alright, once we have our face all powdered, I am getting out my contour stick, and I guess you could use this with a powder. It might actually be a lot easier. I don't know if powders exist, I'm just kind of assuming here. But putting this all over my mouth area. Basically, I am doing this because the latex is, of course, a lot lighter than my skin and won't match when I put foundation on it. Alright, after this, I start to put on some blush, trying to make the wound, or whatever you want to call it, more irritated. And at first I used this blush stick that I have, and that didn't really work, it just looked bright pink. So eventually I got out my powder blush, and that seemed to work a lot better. There it is. So I'm not going as crazy with this as I went with the contour stick, because I don't need the whole surface to be red, of course, just right where the mouth will be cut. Alright, and then finally I am taking my foundation, and I am going to glob it on. I'm going to put a very thick amount. It is going to look pretty thick, which in this case, I mean, it doesn't really matter because your face is gonna look thick anyways with the latex and tissue. So yeah. And of course, after we get the bottom of our face, we have to blend out the rest of our face with this foundation. And I was kind of quick about this because Ben was waiting for me to do his hallway makeup as well. But you guys probably know how to apply foundation at this point, so I'm just gonna leave this here. Alright, and then I got my, oh shoot, I forgot the name of this. Eyeliner! Yes, we are using my eyeliner. Usually I just use this for underneath my eye because I always think it turns out globby when I try to use it as wing. So I am going underneath my eye and on top. Now my original idea for this was me and Ben saw this doll at Stuff Etc. It did not have any eyes, but in place of its eyes was these black smudges. Kind of looked like someone had lit a match to it or something, and it looked really creepy. Me and Ben were convinced it was going to be... Oh, I fucked up. Me and Ben were convinced that it was going to be in our room when we got home, because it was that creepy. So basically, just did a circle around my eyes just to make it look like buttons instead. And of course, we finally get to actually cutting our mouth open. Now, make sure you have a good pair of scissors, because I clearly did not. I was using kid scissors here. And oddly enough, it's pretty hard to cut tissue paper and latex with scissors. That's right, people. Tissue paper is hard to cut with scissors. I even went into Ben's mom's office to try to get her adult scissors, and they still weren't sharp enough, and I was getting pretty frustrated at this point. Oddly enough, I finally found some scissors that were, I believe, are for nails or manicure or something, so luckily I was far away from my mouth at this point that I didn't have to be too grossed out by it. But basically what I'm doing here is I am just cutting the mouth so that I can move my lips. Again, I was going to do a long creepy smile at first, but I just didn't have the room for it. I am also digging around trying to make sure that I have more room in my mouth for when I sew it up later. So cut it as long as you want. It'll look creepy regardless. I mean, right now it just kind of look like I'm from the planet of apes, but you get the point. Alright, so now we are getting these black and red paints. Now you can get these literally anywhere. You can get this at Walmart, you can get this at the dollar store. I'm pretty sure I actually got these at Goodwill, so again, they're pretty easy to find. I'm just doing a light coat of black first. You don't want to do a lot of it because it'll overpower the red pretty easily. You also want to get this underneath the lips, I guess if that's what you want to call it, the flaps on my face. Yes, you're going to want to get inside those as well, just to make sure that there isn't any white coming through, even after you've sewn your mouth shut. Alright, and of course, once you do the black, you want to get some red in there too. Make it look red and gory. And then here I am using this blood I got from Goodwill. It's just a jelly type blood. You can use anything you want. And I just kind of put it in my mouth and then squeezed it out. Looked a lot more creepy than I thought it was going to, but whatever works. Alright, so next I am literally taking some needle and thread, or just thread. Where's the needle? I don't know where the needle is. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. We found the needle. Alright, so we are literally sewing our mouth shut here. This was oddly satisfying to me for some reason, maybe because I really want to keep my mouth shut, so I quit saying stupid things. But you don't have to tie it as tight as I did. You can make it a lot more loose, that way you have more room to talk. But again, I was kind of enjoying it and made it a lot tighter than I originally intended. I could still talk pretty well though. Everyone could understand for the most part what I was saying. So here we are later with more of it sewed shut, and I think I'm just finishing off here. On the side where I started, I had tied a knot so that it wouldn't go through, and I forgot to tie a knot at the very end, so I just put some latex down to stick it to my face. But don't worry if you're not good at knitting, I'm not either. And besides, the more messy it looks, the better, I think. Alright, and now I am putting on some blush and freckles. The freckles didn't look as well as I was hoping. They stand out a bit too much because I used my black eyeliner. So you probably don't want to do that. Or if you do, you probably want to have it more smudged and put the blush on top of it. Like, yeah, that looks kind of weird. Alright, so I got this dress at Goodwill. It is a green dress that had a lot of lace on it, so I thought it worked very well. And I got this red yarn wig from Spirit Halloween. It was originally supposed to be a Sally wig, which is weird because last I checked her hair was pretty flat and this one's really poofy, which I guess makes sense because it is made of yarn. But yes, I wanted to do a different color originally, but unfortunately, I must have imagined seeing yarn wigs anywhere else because red was the only color I could manage to find, which worked in the long run anyways. Alright, you guys. So this is my Halloween look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Here's a slow motion thing for you. I didn't realize my eyes weren't completely covered, so I kind of look awkward here. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am pretty proud of this, even if it doesn't look the best. And I thought it was a great way to end Halloween. Alright guys, see you later. Bye!